discussed about the inner being like the inner chamber of the Matri Mandir, completely transparent to the beam of sunlight that comes in, that illumines it. And this beautiful passage from Savitri that describes it, which we saw even last time. In the passion of its solitary dream, it lay like a close, soundless oratory where sleeps a consecrated argent floor lit by a single and untrembling ray, and an invisible presence kneels in prayer. These are beautiful lines whenever you feel small about yourself because of the muck that goes on in the thoughts and emotions. Just try reading these lines to yourself, visualizing yourself as that sacred, holy presence in the heart, constantly kneeling down in prayer. And then there were guidances from the mother about how to bridge the inner and outer being. A very useful practice is to keep your aspiration diary, and every morning when you wake up, write your aspiration to Mother Sri Aurobindo. Dear Sri Aurobindo Ma, my aspiration for today is, and articulate it. Articulate also your gratitude, your love, whatever you want to. And maybe many times through the day, you can remind yourself of this aspiration. It's really a very powerful practice. I hope many of us will bring it into our life. Then Sri Aurobindo says that one of the most fundamental ways of linking to our inner being is to change our faith. Right now we have faith in whatever we are seeing with our eyes, whatever the appearance of life is for us, we are using our reason to draw conclusions about our life based on that. But Sri Aurobindo says that while the reasoning mind looks at appearances and then draws conclusions, the knowledge of the heart, the gnosis, comes from truth and sees appearances in the light of that truth. And what is the truth it knows? The truth of Kalyan Shraddha, the faith in goodness of life. So we spoke about the beautiful story of the 16-year-old sage Markandeya. So the story goes that when Markandeya was 16 years old, he was destined to die, and he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. So he was worshipping the Shivling, and Yama came along. And Markandeya begged Yama, let me finish my worship, then take me. But Yama said, death waits for no one. So Markandeya just went and put his arms around the Shivling and gave himself to the Shivling. Shiva appeared and tried to halt Yama. Yama said, nothing doing, not even your word can veto the decree of death. And Shiva said, then my word is that if Markandeya is supposed to die at 16, he will stay 16 forever. You'll never be able to touch him. And Yama was defeated. So with our eyes shut, several times through the week, we can bring this story into our heart. Whatever is our difficulty is Yama. And we bring our Shivling, which is Mother, Sri Aurobindo, whatever we believe in, between the difficulty and ourselves. And we just hug that Shivling, hug our highest reverence, and stop fighting. We hand over the charge to that higher power. And then miracles happen. So So, the faith that Sri Aurobindo is talking about is this knowing in the heart. Faith is this constant poise of the child in us, the Markandeya in us, hugging the Shivling and knowing that the all-powerful Shiva will let nothing happen to me ever. So coming from this truth, when I look at appearances, they look quite different than when I look at appearances and make reasonable conclusions about them. So this change in faith is a must when we want to connect with our inner being. And then there was this beautiful poem, sonnet by Sri Aurobindo, of the inner being as if, of the outer being as if praying to the inner being. O thou, of whom I am the instrument, O secret spirit and nature housed in me, let all my being, let all my mortal being now be blent in thy still glory of divinity. I have given my mind to be dug, thy channel mind. I have offered up my will to be thy will. Let nothing of myself be left behind in our union mystic and unutterable. My heart shall throb with the world beats of thy love. My body become thy engine for earth use. In my nerves and veins thy rapture stream shall move. My thoughts shall be hounds of light for thy power to lose. Keep only my soul to adore eternally and meet thee in each form and soul of thee.